Hello and welcome to Nikolai's genetics lessons, and today's problem going to be about how to apply rule of probabilities in order to solve genetics problems. I already posted this problem and solution about 4 years ago, and I used binomial expansion method in order to solve this problem. And today I want to show you probably another more easy method that is called factorial method. So if you think that you can solve this problem, I recommend you to pause the video here, try to solve this problem on your own first, and when you would be ready, you can run video again and you can compare your answer with my answer and explanation. So here is a problem. Given a cross between a plant that is heterozygous purple flowered and a plant that is homozygous white flowered, what is the probability of obtaining 4 purple flowered plants and 7 flowered plants, white flowered plants among the offspring? In order to solve this problem using factorial method, we have to know a formula which is n factorial divided by s factorial and t factorial multiplied by p q raised s and t. So how to use this formula? It is very easy. N, number of events, and number of events is 4 plus 7. S stands for the first type of events, so purple flowered would be first type of events, and white flowered plants would be second type of events. So P stands for the probability of type 1 events, so raised S, and Q stands for the probability of type 2 events, raised T. And in our formula, N always equals S plus T, and PQ, when we add these two numbers, always equal to 1, and S plus T always also equal to N. So if this information is confusing, I will show you how to apply numbers, and you would see that this is very easy to use this formula. So as you see, total number of events would be 11. So let's put 11 on top, 11 factorials, and I also will explain what is a factorials and how to use it. So number type of events S would be 4, so 4 factorial, and number of events second type is 7, so purple flowers 7. And now we have to multiply by probability of type 1 events. And what is the probability? That when we cross heterozygous purple flowered plant with a homozygous white flowered plant, what is the probability to obtain white flowered plants? This is very easy. So we know that heterozygous plant is purple, so genotype would be capital A and small a, and white flowered plant is homozygous recessive, so genotype would be small a, small a. And now when we build a Punnett square, we can predict of the different variants of genotypes of the progenies, and of course we can tell phenotypes of the progeny. So capital A, small a here, small a here, capital A, small a here, and small a here. So as you see, if this is going to be purple flowered plant, if this is going to be genotype of the white flowered plant, 50% of the progeny also would be would have purple flowers, and another 50% would have white flowers. That means that we have to put in our formula, probability for the type 1 events or purple flowered plants, probability would be 1/2 raised, as you see, s, which is equal to 4, so raised 4, and we have to multiply by a number q. This is probability of type 2 events, and this is white flowered plants, and probability also would be 1/2, so we have to multiply by 1/2 raised 7, so raised t, and t equals to 7. As you see, when we applied numbers, now it's very easy to solve this problem. If you don't know what factorials means, this is also very easy. So factorial 7 basically means that we have to multiply this number by itself every time, reducing by 1. So factorial 7 equals to 7 multiplied by 6, by 5, by 4, by 3, by 2, and by 1. And factorial 4, for example, would be factorial 4, 4 multiplied by 3, by 2, and by 1. So as you see, now we can easily solve this problem. So on top we have factorial 11, so that means 11 multiplied by 10, by 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we have to divide this number by factorial 4 and 7. Once again, factorial 4 equal to 4 multiplied by 3, by 2, and by 1. And factorial 7 means 7 multiplied by 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now we can easily cross out these numbers here, which are the same. Now we can also reduce this 4 and this 8. What we would be left would be 2 here. We also can reduce this 10 and this 2, and we would be left with 5 here. And we also can reduce this 9 and this 3, and what we would be left here is 3. So basically we don't have anything left on the bottom except 1, and any number multiplied by 1 is the same number, and any number divided by 1 would be the same number, so we just can reduce this number too. So what we left is 11 multiplied by 5, by 3, and by 2, and the number going to be 330, and we have to multiply by 1/2 raised 4 and 1/2 raised 7. Basically this means 1/2 we have to add this 4 and 7, so this would equal to 1/2 raised 11, so 1/2 raised 11, and 1/2 raised 11 basically means that we have to multiply 1/2 by itself 11 times, and the number that we are going to get here we have to multiply by this number. I'm explaining every small detail of calculations because I know that many botany and biology students don't like math, so some of you may forgot this simple algebra calculations, so I just remind you, and the answer would be 0.161. This is a rounded number, and if you need an answer in percentage form, we have to multiply this number by 100, and as you see, the answer would be 16.1%. So you can say that the answer is 0.161, or if you need an answer in percentage form, this is going to be 16.1% probability that if we cross plant that is heterozygous purple with a homozygous white flowered plant, that if we take 11 plants, 4 of them would be purple flowered and 7 of them would be white flowered. The very important thing that I probably have to say at the beginning, that in our problem, order of the events is not given. We are not given the order. For example, what is the probability that the first 4 flowers would be purple flowered and then we would get 7 white flowered plants. So calculations in this case would be completely different, and if order would be different, for example, what probability that first we will get purple flowered plant, then white flowered, then purple flowered, white flowered, and so on. So as you see, when order is given, we do not apply this formula. We apply this formula only when order of events is not given. Just like in our problem today, order is not given. So, and one more time, n equal to number 1 type of events plus number 2 type of events, and p plus q, this is probability of number 1 events and number 2 events. P plus q always equals to 1, and s plus t here also equal to n here, and of course this is the same numbers here. So if you're confused how to memorize this formula, I have a hint for you. I use mnemonic technique, and I just have to memorize one word, that is non-stop. So N, S, T, P, non-stop, and I memorize the rest of the formula just because P and Q always means frequency in mass, in probability theory. So it's very easy if you can recall the formula up until here to memorize and recall the rest of the formula. And this is all for today. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please write your comments, questions if you have any. And see you in the next video. Goodbye.